As the regime targets the region's youth and leaders, it has also trained its eyes in taking over or destroying political parties associated with the region. The invasion of the Jubilee Party must be seen in this light. It is an attempt to cripple Mount Kenya leadership and create a crisis of governance of political parties in the region. The verification of our Azimio chairman, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, is also part of this evil scheme to subdue a whole community and region. This is totally unnecessary. Chinua Achebe once said, remarked, when did the rain start beating us? And we are asking, when did the rain start beating the mountain region? It is apparent that the destabilization of Jubilee Party and the destruction of established political leaders of the region is a do-or-die agenda for the KK regime, sponsored by the highest level of the Kenya Kwanza leadership to ensure that Mount Kenya region has no serious political party to challenge anti-Mount Kenya policies that appear to be driving the decisions of this regime. Many of the tax measures contained in the finance bill currently before Parliament are unreasonable and clearly directed not only at the nation, but particularly at Mount Kenya businesses. The proposed turnover tax is basically a tax on assets whose primary objective is to impoverish the mamambogas, boda-bodas, and other vulnerable Kenyans struggling to make a living in these difficult economic circumstances. The majority of these businesses, small businesses, are owned largely by men and women of the mountain region. I will invite my colleague, Honorable Kioni, to read the conclusion.
In light of the above, we state as follows. Kenya Kwanza regime must stop profiling Mount Kenya youth as Mogeki or Walefi. We call on critical institutions, among them the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, and the National Cohesion and Integration Commission to investigate the conduct of police at DCI offices and raids on minor Jenga's homes, and the statements by government officials on the so-called resurgence of Mogeki sect. Any attempts to profile and vilify the community or to claw back gains made will be resisted very strongly. We will resist KK regime economic policies that are designed to oppress, deprive, or curtail economic opportunities of any of the communities that make up the state known as Kenya. Many of you might recall that back in the 80s and before, we had the cooperative movement. It was the first line of attack by the Moi regime. Many from Mount Kenya went under. We now can see another onslaught on the chamas, the merry-go-rounds, another onslaught on those groupings that are quite predominant within Mount Kenya. We will continue monitoring, documenting, and responding to emerging policy and human rights abuses affecting Mount Kenya region and any acts that are outside the rule of law. Kenya Kwanza regime, in its evil design to impoverish the poor people of Mount Kenya, must be reminded that it is not possible to legislate the poor into prosperity by registrating the wealthy out of prosperity. We demand the immediate withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2023 in its entirety. The unwarranted